Let me start. This quite short meeting will be about the project data consistency we were working on for a couple of months, and some results from this. And it's also quite important that all, at least backend developers, are really aware, and also it would be good if other developers like front end would have some knowledge or understand the system of cache clearing in our solution. So to start, I did also already make some introduction, but project was about data consistency, and it was the aim was to make the data consistent on the website without making the website unstable. That means in case there are the example is if there are catalogs, we import new catalogs, we have to reflect these changes on all websites without any troubles with the performance. So this is the example where we were aiming. So we split this theme into 4 subtopics, and the first one, imports. These are the catalogs and product imports. The second one was indexing, and I will focus on 2, and it was the publishing and the clearing. So at first, before I start directly speaking about the publishing and clearing, I think it's very important everybody to understand what are the cache layers in our application and they are maintained. So I prepared some small slide for everybody to understand what kind of caches do we have and how they are maintained. So in fact, I've divided the databases into 2 sections. One is the tenant databases and one is the Sitecore databases. On the top of the Sitecore databases, we have some Sitecore assemblies which are communicating with databases, and inside these assemblies, they are also maintaining these Sitecore caches. These are the Sitecore cache, like item cache, prefetch cache. There are some security cache and all these kind of caches which are maintained by Sitecore. You can view these caches on this page, Sitecore admin cache, ASPX, if you want to check. So these are these caches. On the top of caches, we are introducing our application. So this is the code we have written in our solution, and we are using our application cache. This application cache is hidden behind this cache result attribute or get cache or execute method of some helper. So and inside we use mainly the local cache. It's a .NET memory cache, or in some cases also distributed as a Azure Redis cache. This cache is divided per tenant, so each tenant has his separate set of caches and cache regions, and also each cache is divided into some region. This is crucial in the next part to understand that we are divided into regions. And to get it complete, again some application code, and complete top level is the Sitecore HTML cache, which is caching directly the output of some rendering. Now, if we understand how the caching works in Sitecore, I think we can move to next point, and it's the current situation. This image describes how the current situation on our live environment look like. A couple of web databases for each region. I just picked up 3, but there are 5 or 6. I mean, I'm not sure right now. And running Smart Publish. Smart Publish is a process. It's directly from Sitecore. It's type of publishing. And the thing is that Smart Publish take from the simplicity complete tree from the master, and it compares the tree with the tree in the EMEA, and then the differences are published between from master to, for example, this EMEA web. Well, the disadvantage is like written here. It's quite a long running process. It loads the publishing instance and the database. Because it takes so much time, we are not able to run it more than 3 or 4 times per, which is, and this like situation is very problematic for editors because they would like to see their changes immediately on live, not waiting a couple of hours till deploy, huge amount of items are transferred because we are like waiting several hours until it's published, and then the publish itself is quite big. And as a result of this, a lot of items are published. We have to clear all the caches we have, and this is the biggest problem we have, because if we clear all caches on the application node, if it is under at least some load, I'm not saying high load, then it's responding in quite a long time, and it's affecting the end users quite a lot. So I describe it like this is our problem. We have our solution, and the solution is to take incremental publish. Incremental publish is smarter than smart. or it's just a different way how we can publish. But the thing is that Sitecore like records all changes in the items, and according to this list of changes, we are publishing only those items which have changed. We are not comparing all the complete trees. So our idea is that if we run incremental publish every 15 minutes, we are making it in really small chunks. We have just a couple of items which are needed to be published, like I don't know, 10s, maybe 100. It's just quite small number of items, and so this publish will take, I don't know, say just a couple of minutes, and we are able to run it every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or something like this. So it's like nearly continuous publishing. And what is really important is the fact what we have already implemented, and we are just starting it on a live environment on Africa cluster, is that we are able to clear caches more efficiently. So compare like current situation with Smart Publish, we are publishing a huge amount of items. Now we would like to publish just a small amount. All caches are cleared in the older version. Only some caches are cleared in the newer version, and is used to be a performance killer for us. Now we are like awaiting that it won't affect the response times of the website. So to make this, because I described just the brief view, and it wasn't just like we switched the publishing. We have to make some changes, and also not the changes, but all code which will be written will cache some Sitecore items, like class objects or some results of some queries. All the developers who are like caching on this data must be aware how to configure this cache clearing. So we have like introduced some kind of binding between cache region, because well, I will just go through it and then show a demo. It will be more descriptive, I think. And so there is a binding between cache region and some item type, like for example, some item template or item or something like this. And our goal was to make these cache regions as small as possible, because current implementation of .NET memory cache, there are only two ways how you can evict the cache. You can either evict complete region, or you must know the exact key to evict some item in the cache. You are not able to iterate through the cache and evict according to some, I don't know, prefix of the cache, of cache key. So, okay, it's time for demo. So, there is a region. This cache regions static class. It's something more than like some kind of list of possible cache regions. Some of these regions, they have this clear region after publish. This is important in case you are anybody else is placing some data into cache region, which is called, for example, editorials. Then you have to know that this region will be like evicted when something about related to editorials will be published. So, and how do we see it? How to configure it? So search for usages. Here. So here we can see some like occurrences of this cache attribute. You already know this cache attribute is nothing like special, so it's frozen. And this cache attribute it's wrapping the function, so it's wrapping the result, and inside this this method. Sorry for that. Yeah, finally. Inside it method, we can see there is used some editorial landing repository. In this repository, go inside, for example, here. We can see that this repository is working with some kind of page. I don't know well what it really means, but the important thing is, if I can go to the other occurrences, I can see there is some category repository, and inside the repository I'm working with some kind of objects. So if I'm just collapse all the and I go to the configuration itself, I can see that the editorials, this one is like quite complicated, but we can see that this region is dependent on paths, and in this very particular case, we know it's just this content, home, beauty, edit, item path. And as well, it's related on some kind of templates. That means in case the item has a template of some of these types, then it means that this region is evicted in case that some item which fulfills these conditions is published. So you can see there are quite a lot of configuration. There is configuration for some region news, some region press release, articles, common editorials. yeah, maybe you can be like surprised with it. We have quite that we have editorials, common editorials article, and editorial stories. It's still the editorials, but we want to make the regions as small as possible. That means if we are speaking about very particular case, for example, these editorials articles, we know it's just related to some, in this case, product slider. I don't know why, but if you go to the code, you might understand. We did quite a lot of refactorings on it and investigation what is really inside this this region. Then you will see.
This is probably the wrong example because here some refactoring is needed.
Yeah,
obviously.
of course.
Never mind.
Yeah, it was a half part, like we split it, the regions, and the thing which I wanted to say is that it's important to make this region as small as possible, because in case we are forced to have big regions with a lot of data, then it's very difficult to fill the data back into the cache. So if we are able to having just small regions, then it's more efficient. It has less influence than on performance than it is right now.
We want to evict as small of the caches as possible each time.
This is exactly it. So maybe to make it the whole scope, how does it work? So right now, if incremental publish, this incremental publish publishes, I don't know, 100 items. All these 100 items are recorded on each web delivery server. And once the publish is over, this list of items are processed. And according to the list, all the regions which need to be cleared are identified and then are cleared. So the difference is in the older solution, when there was publish complete, we flush all caches because we were not able to decide which should be and which shouldn't be flushed. And in this new solution, we are flushing only those regions which are related to the data which were in the publish. Yeah, I think that's all.
Would it be possible to edit just this application that got changed, but to flush all data? Some items?
We on, for example, class objects, because we are able to, if we know the item code, the item ID, and we are able to create the key. That means something like ID, because it's like obvious. But in case you are, for example, there's, but it's not. I wanted to show this one. In here, I have no idea what I'm into the what items are in the result of some kind of in this repository. So I'm not able to evict it just by one key. So in some cases, we have implemented this solution that just the keys or just one item is evicted. But in most of the cases, when are somehow aggregated, as in this very particular example, then always everything.
And this is not a common situation that you have some logic that you only on one item, because it's like always you are allowing to show banners, so he can, or the editor can choose whatever he wants. So it's not one particular item. And I can suppose this can be, for example, if you have some component, so this is the only one component, but so then I know this item can affect this rendering because it's used only there. But this is the case when we are not caching the information about them in the application cache. It's rendered on the HTML cache on the next level. So it's not affect the application application cache. You know, this relationship, this unique relationship.
Yeah, but it's a good point.
Sure, of course, it would be fine if we have one item and there is this region, exactly one. It should be the ideal solution, but it's not like this.
Yeah, but all this solution is introduced in these class objects where it's quite obvious mapping between item and the class object, the ORM mapping of this object. So then we are like clearing just one item by one item, not a whole region.
So if I understand this correctly, we are creating some cache dependencies between components, which somehow are related Sitecore or are Sitecore component. So what does it mean for me as a front-end developer? These relationships get generated somehow automatically, or do I have when some component logic is changed and there is some dependency between the components which are touching Sitecore in some way, do I have to go inside these configurations not from now on and change something?
In case, it's not a good example, but just to make it clear, in case I would use some kind of, I don't know, not editorial repository, but I would use also some kind of navigation repository if there is something like this. And I would cache a result from this navigation repository in this region, even though it's nonsense. Then I would need to go to this configuration in this config and place also what was this? Place also some different templates or some other paths which are related to this cache region.
But this is on the application level. So you as a front end probably are not meeting this condition, like that you are coding some application logic that's cached.
Yeah, yes, this is important for the backend developers who are accessing the repositories, who are taking data from repositories, who are aggregating this data, who are like adjusting the data. So and the place where the data are adjusted and cached. So the place where they are moved to the controllers, and in the controllers, I think this is the first place when usually front-end guys are starting. Right? So it should influence the front-end developers.
Okay.
They are making front-end guys.
So we are not speaking here about the HTML cache probably, but rather the lower level.
Good point. Let me switch again to the image. Yeah, we are speaking only about this application cache, and front-end developers are working somewhere here to like you know, if I show the levels, and if we are speaking about the HTML cache, it remains the same. After each publish, it must be completely, because we are not able to find some dependency between the items and the HTML cache. It would be.
And even we don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Just the cache.
Fine.
Yeah. So currently, all this presentation was just about this application cache.
And the settings which is in the Sitecore regarding the renderings. So this is also Sitecore HTML cache, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
And what is the current status? Because I saw that there are only some editorials, mappings. Does it mean that we have to go through every our caches right now? And
no, we have already done it. There are editors, there are product info, there are markets, there are live tools, there is some order plot, localization, renderings, analytics, navigation. So everything was already like investigated and somehow transferred. Well, the work will continue. as Renia pointed out, with this, I don't know where it was. That was the name of the editorial something, and the name of the item was page type. So it's like something strange in it. So.
And also the cache regions are also divided into smaller sections already.
Yeah. Well, for example, there used to be just one editorial region, and we split it into 5, if I'm not mistaken. So this was already done. And the thing is, if you are creating a new repository, if you are like touching some new kind of, for example, banner, you will create this new kind of region. So then you will create a new kind of configuration for this new kind of region.
And maybe one more note about the example you have said, that you want to adjust the current functionality, you want a new repository or whatever. So we should take care about not to generalize the regions, keep it split all the time. So let it the old one, if it's used and it has sense to be used, let it there and create another one. Yeah. So no generalization.
Yeah. So if you are, the purpose of this meeting was that you are aware of this, like there is some dependency or binding between the cache items and the region. If you don't understand it properly and you are about to work on it, I'm willing to. It's not so difficult as it might look right now. So okay, if there are no other questions, we have 2 minutes.
Does it mean that the incremental will be only the one way we publish items?
Yeah. It's like, we are changing the strategy. We will, of course, this info, but it should be like that we want to use the incremental strategy. On the other side, we want to be able to use the smart publishing emergency cases that something is wrong. So then we have an option to perform the smart publish time to make the database consistent or whatever. But when we finish with this concept, then we should change the strategy to incremental.
Currently, we're doing it only Africa. Okay, so thank you.
Thanks.
Poslední.
Bye.
Dobrá, nebyl
Fine.
Máte nějaký novinky?